People. Andrew the Realtor here with my April 2023 housing market update. Now, I'm going to get right into it. I know it's towards the latter third of April. That actually is on purpose because I was waiting for what am I thinking of? The inflation numbers to come in. And man, some good news there, 4.3% inflation. I'll show you guys in just a little bit. So let me get right into this because there's some very important stuff here. I'm going to not going to say so much, I told you so. Instead, I'm going to kind of keep giving you information that if you guys actually follow my stuff month after month, hopefully it's giving you some confidence in some of the things that I'm saying because I have been correct, maybe not just myself, but people from whom I get a lot of my information have been correct about the market, which may give you a little bit of confidence for yourself as well. So let me get right into it. Right off the bat, show you this amazing little ditty here. And this is, of course, from March. That's last month. The report advised that 62% of those who put a pause on their home search intend to resume that search. And that is what happened and has been happening and is currently happening in the month of April in 2023. It's very, very important because that extra demand, that pent-up demand that has been happening, what has kind of built up over the past few months because of people's uncertainty with interest rates. We are at 2 times now that the Bank of Canada has maintained versus the U.S., which is very interesting. And also because the inflation rate going down, that's what we're going to continue. In fact, we're going to talk about that in just a bit. The point being, there's all the normal demand that is present in the GTA, as per usual, because it's a normal year, by the way. But also there's that extra pent-up demand. So you've got regular demand and pent-up demand, and that's what's causing a lot of the pretty fast sales right now, and a lot of listings are going in multiple offers. Very interesting. So first and foremost, as I always like to say, excuse me, is that, of course, I do this market update on a monthly basis, basically to add value and give you guys information, proper, accurate, actual numbers information about the housing market, which you, very smart people, will be able to do with as you see fit, depending on your plans, if you have any at all. And of course, as I always say in my newsletter, don't delete it. Save it for later. It's always good information and that you can use later. Some people have actually commented on that, how important it is. And for those of you, other of you who maybe just see this on YouTube, of course, you just see the information and go, okay, well, maybe this guy knows what he's talking about. So if you have questions, you know who to talk to. So I have a program, as always, that will notify you that every time a neighbor's home hits the market. Some of you have taken advantage of that. It's free, just information that you get. And certainly I don't have to send it to you. But I'm aware of it, and if you have any questions, you can contact me. And please hit like and subscribe. If you're on YouTube, the past few, I haven't really been able to pump out the videos of the past few times, and so obviously the views are down a little bit, which is fine with me. I don't get any money from this. I just want to make sure you guys have good info. So onward with April 2023. So here are the numbers. You know I love the numbers. Those of you who watch us on a regular basis, you know I love the numbers. So let's go year over year. That's the most important one, basically because it does compare things to last year. The bad thing is last year was crazy. So as you guys probably know, the best example I always use is the NBA. If you ever watch the NBA, professional basketball players, it's awesome. Toronto Raptors, great team. Unfortunately, they didn't make the playoffs this year because we lost. But anyway, listen, the point being, you watch that, and you actually sometimes, if you watch it enough, you get the impression that there's these taller guys and these shorter guys. And what we don't realize is, like someone like Fred VanVleet or one of these guys, they're like, they're much shorter. I mean, they actually look short playing basketball. But then you find out the guy's like 6'2", or 6'3", or 6'4". And you go, wait a second. That's not short at all. It's short compared to the other guys that are playing around. Some guys who's 6'10" with long arms. Some guy who's like 7'1". Compared to those guys, the 6'4" guys actually look short. What's the point of that? Compared to 2022, or 2018 compared to the beginning of 2017. People are saying, the market's going down so much. I mean, look at this. Average price is down. Look at the sales price coming down. It's because we're comparing a 6'4" guy to a 7'1" guy. We're comparing a good, healthy market, a busy market, a particularly busy market, compared to crazy. Okay? That's what's happening here. So hopefully that example makes some sense to you. So this is average price down 14%, and of course, homes sold is down. All normal stuff. Now, this is average price down 14.6% for March of 2022. If you guys recall, March of 2022 versus March of 2021, the average price was up tremendously, over 20%. So what we're actually saying is we're down from 22, but we're actually significantly up from 2021, which is what's happening in the market. The really bad thing, and I've made it right here, is the lack of new listings. Now, there should be more new listings. There are new listings coming up, but the reason the active listings number isn't really popping up as much, and that's still happening in April, is because as we list, we're also selling. We're still selling quite a bit. So the inventory in general is only slowly creeping up. It should be higher than it is now. Main reason being the pent-up demand that I mentioned at the beginning of the video, and the fact that it's spring market in the GTA, as per usual. In terms of down, loss, average price, detached, semi, townhouse, all across the board, pretty normal. But I'm not going to waste your time with it. But if I was going to show you 2022 versus 2021, all of these would be up tremendously, 20% something, 30%, 25%, all these kinds of crazy numbers. So keep that in mind. Yes, we're lower than the absolute peak of the market, but we're doing really well and we're moving up. Look at this. This is month over month. March 2023, last month versus February, just a month before that. Homes sold is up another 40%. Remember that I mentioned the other 20, 50%? The news were saying, 50%. We're down 50% in sales versus 2022. I was saying, wait, you're looking at the wrong 50%. From January to February, it was an increase of 50% in terms of sales volume. And now from February to March, we're up 44, almost 45%, almost another 50%. So more and more sales, more and more sales. Average price, interesting. Guys, please take note. Average price last month to the month before that, up 1%. And that's going to continue as well. Here's the point. The market is creeping up already. It is creeping up. Average days on market is the other one you need to take a note of. In February this year, it was 33 days. Last month, 27. This month, April, it's going to be even lower than that. What's the point? I'm seeing homes that did not sell in fall of last year, relisted several times, expensive homes from $2 to $4+ million selling in April and end of March this year. Because, well, things are really, really picking up. And I've told some of the neighbors that specific thing as well. And notice, detached up, everybody's up. No middle change in the townhomes. That's because there's not quite as many of those sold, at least, in March of this year. But up, and condos are down 0.3%. So basically, it's flat. The point being, this down business, it's gone. And guys, I'll be very honest with you. Those of you who are just buyers, I'll tell this in just a bit, you missed out. I'll be honest, you missed out. January, February was the time to buy if you're just a buyer or you're just an investor buying a property. That was the time because prices were lowest and they're only going up at this point. However, I'll mention, all is not lost. Let me move this here. These are the down prices. Yes, everybody's down. Absolutely. This is versus 2022. But notice again, Toronto holding on very, very tight. And if I was going to show you March 22 versus March 2021, this number would be up probably somewhere in the 20%. The point being, 23 versus 21, we're up tremendously. Quite a bit. So the housing market, strong, healthy, moving right up along. Inventory, well, that's normal. It's always an issue. But Pickering, Ajax, Oshawa, so across the board, everyone is certainly down. In this particular month, Stouffville didn't do as well. But the point being, yes, they're down, but if you're going to compare this to 2021, we're up. And I always try to show this. These change regularly, but this, Toronto is very resilient. The Toronto real estate market, particularly, always resilient. So, onward. Guys, this is great news. I shared this with somebody just yesterday, and they were very happy to hear it. This just came out April 18th, because that's the date. This is for, obviously, the month of March. This is the great news. Inflation, Canada inflation, down to 4.3. Look at the huge drop, 5.2 down to 4.3%. That's amazing. Notice the height, the absolute height, which is why it's in red, 8.1, which was June of last year. June of 2022, we're at our highest, 8.1. Pretty crazy. And I know other countries, U.S., I think we're in the 9 to 10% range, and other countries, 100%. All kinds of stuff is happening in the world, certainly last year. But now, look at 4.3. We went from 5.9 to 4.3, and here are the averages of the past few years. The last time we had 4.3, by the way, was between August and September of 21. So we're doing really well, guys. I know the groceries are expensive, things are so expensive. I get it. But believe me when I tell you, this is actually a good sign for anybody across the board in Canada. If you're a Canadian, that's a good sign. And so one of the reasons, for example, that we've not had the Bank of Canada go up twice now. Twice they've had a chance to go up or go down. They've stayed flat. There's even some talk or some idea of possibly the interest rates coming down. Why? Well, look. December, 6.2. Look at the drop from April 1, steadily coming down. Only a bit of a drop here, but 6.3, 5.9, 5.2, 4.3. That is a big drop. And I think a lot of people are noticing as well. What's going to happen with interest rates? Now, we have pent-up demand. Eventually, that's going to die down a little bit, and it'll be just the average, normal, hot demand in the GTA market. But what do you think is going to happen with interest rates? Do you think they're going to go up if the inflation continually goes down? The government, Bank of Canada, is having less and less pressure in terms of pushing the interest rates up, and is having more and more pressure putting the interest rates down, because they've continually, and the politicians have done this as well, as I mentioned before, they have tied inflation and interest rates into one thing. If one's going down, good luck keeping this one up, especially considering the price of homes and that kind of thing. So for those of you, again, buying, Things are picking up, and they're only going to continue picking up. Why? Even though pent-up demand is going to eventually get fulfilled, and it's going to be just regular demand, which is always hot, interest rates, what do you think is going to happen to them, in all honesty? What if they go down a tad, even 0.1 or zero point 0.2? Just a little bit, not even a quarter. You think it's going to increase demand or decrease demand? It's going to increase demand again. And more and more people are going to be entering the market because there are still some people sitting on the sidelines not sure exactly what to do. I'm still getting that, even though, well, frankly, they should be following this. So I included this specific little video of Dion Begg, compliments of him, mortgage broker. And why I said this is, again, these properties still exist. Investment properties still exist in this market with the current interest rates. This is an example. It's an out-of-towner. So a 3-unit home. I'm not even going to mention it in terms of cost or anything in terms of price. Don't worry about that because, frankly, this is what you'd be concerned with if you're an investor. Just as an example of what the market is actually still doing for property investors. This is a 3-unit building. 3 units, a triplex, we can tell. Total rent for this. You guys know what's happening with rent. Rent is going up tremendously. Even last year, it went up 20%, while everything else is going down in terms of sales. So mortgage payment here, total expenses here, total rent here. Here's the cash flow. And yes, there's other costs, fixed variable costs. You know, you got to fix something or whatever, those kinds of things. But the fact is, there's still cash flow. These things are still happening. The real estate market is still going strong, regardless of what anyone else has said. Regardless of even economists, and I'm sure CMHC is going to say something very silly like they usually do, almost on purpose, I think. Guys, the real estate market is doing really well in the GTA. Whenever they say Canada market, always ignore that. Always think, we're in Canada. Saskatchewan, BC, GTA in Ontario. It's important, the location. So, guys, quick summary, and I hope I haven't gone too fast through this. Honestly, it's really, really important stuff. If you're thinking of entering the market, honestly, it's really worth a conversation. You really should know the numbers. Days on market, your area, days on market where you're buying, days on market where if you have to sell 2 or 3 properties, you want to have all that information in front of you, then you can make a proper decision. Don't listen to the news. Don't listen to whatever pops up on your phone every morning, usually negative or, or hype or clickbait, those kinds of things. So, buyers, April 2023. Those of you thinking of buying, please consider this. Okay. It's still a great time to buy. Admittedly, being very frank and honest and upfront with you guys, because I've mentioned this several months now in a row, you missed that on the ground floor. You missed that on the ground floor. January, February 23, that was the time to be on the ground floor. Sellers weren't sure. There were bargains to be had. People didn't know what was going to happen with interest rates, all that stuff. And a lot of those people don't watch this newsletter or watch this market update, unfortunately. So, guys, that aside, honestly, still a good time to buy. It is. Interest rates might even pop down a bit. And you're going to have more competition. Right now, you have extra competition because of the pent-up demand that I mentioned several times already. There's still a lot of upside. No, you're not on the ground floor, but you're on second, third floor, maybe. There's still a lot of upside. You guys know what will happen every time. So by next year, prices will be up, maybe the same as 2022. If that happens, holy cow. So competition has increased and will increase until the pent-up demand is fulfilled, absolutely. But on top of that, if the interest rates go down a little bit, there'll be even more demand. So what should you do if you're looking to buy? Honestly, call me. Totally, you're no pressure, no nothing. I'll give you the info. I'll give you some days on market, show you what things have been selling for, and you can make a decision yourself or talk to your mortgage broker more specifically about what you can afford and that kind of thing. So, sellers, I never forget my sellers. And I know some of you have to buy and sell. So in the same market, that changes things a little bit. There's less of an advantage unless you're doing something specific. Be realistic, but things are picking up. You guys would have noticed that. Things are selling. There are multiple offer situations quite often happening, especially for the lower price, like under $1 million. Consider using an offer date. And again, if you're watching this, you should be working with me, humbly speaking. But if you're not, consider an offer date. Depending on your situation and the price of your home, I've seen even higher end homes sell in multiple offers in like a week or so in areas where things have been sitting for months. Believe me. If you followed my advice from last month, you got or will get a better price this month. I told you guys, sellers, hold out. No low balls. Don't go for low balls. Offers. Not if you're a realtor, or hopefully it's me, telling you, hey, listen, you can get this. Don't panic. Over time, especially now in April, you probably have sold it already. If you haven't, you will. And you'll get a decent price and you'll be happy that you're held out. Now, remember, you're also buying in the same, if it's in the same market, don't worry about it. Here's a biggie. I asterisk right here. Consider buying first. This is where you have to know the numbers. Again, call me. I'll give you the information as to whether you should be buying or selling in terms of the numbers. Then you make that decision because there's psychology involved as well. Some people can buy first and then not sleep at night until their house is sold, even though they will and they do sell and the numbers all work out. You have to know that reality about yourself as well. But also you have to know that what the days on market is. Those numbers will dictate whether you should buy first or sell first. For a lot of people right now, April 23, we're back to the stuff that was happening last year, first half of last year, and before that. You may want to consider buying first, having your house ready, and hitting the market as soon as you firm up on the purchase. Make sure your home looks good, especially on photos. Please, guys, don't overstage. Don't make it look messy. Some people do. Honestly, I love stagers. I have great stagers, professionals that have won awards. Sometimes you can do without, but usually you need staging, and it does have to look good, and it can't be overdone. Keep it simple, clean, focus on those aspects of the house, of the room that are most important. So, sellers, you will do fine. Questions, give me a shout. As always, guys, it's me. So I wish you guys a fantastic rest of April. Enjoy the weather. It was a cold beginning of the week, but now it's warming up a little bit. The sunshine makes everything feel better and look better. Guys, have a great rest of April. I'll see you in May. Any questions? Bottom of the video. You know where to find me. As always, just delivering information, delivering value. Hoping you guys get something out of this. And yeah, feel free to comment. Hit like and subscribe, please. All it does is just allows you to be reminded when I have something new. And, lets me know somebody's actually watching this stuff. Guys, have a great rest of the month.